Let's start the show.
Let's start the show.
Yeah. You unruly piece of human garbage that you are. You wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Did you get Kevin to draw the hat on there? Did you reach out to Kevin specifically to make that happen?
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Z&B Live. Let me tell you. I had nothing to do with it.
I don't believe you for a hot.
I will listen. You want me? I will read you. Hold on. Let me read you the email.
I don't care what you read me. I don't believe you.
Hold on. I'm gonna read it to you, just so, because I had nothing. I had nothing to do with it. It's been sitting right here in this logo the entire time.
I did not. I don't. No one else noticed either. They were too busy looking into my eyes, not your eyes, because you get the shade.
Kevin sent me an email on Friday. It says, please use this complimentary piece of anonymous fan art for surprise shenanigans.
This piece of garbage. A garbage human being. I knew Kevin.
Love Kevin. Fantastic.
Perpetuating this narrative that I look anything like a golf caddy.
I gotta give it up to my tier 3s, because we did our tier 3 from Twitch hang on Saturday, and I showed them all the image. Then they've been keeping it quiet.
You didn't even show me.
Why would I show you?
It's true, right? Yeah, why would you do that?
They've been keeping it quiet all weekend long. Monday, Tuesday, good for them. They didn't drop a single hint, man. I give it up to my tier 3s. They rocked it out. But yeah, Kevin, I had nothing to do with it. I wish I could have claimed that, but no.
So I knew Kevin Hinkle was my worst rival. Worst rival now. He's high up on the list.
Oh, it's so
Pro Gamers Guide will be employing a new artist for all future endeavors and no longer associated.
I mean,
with
he
the
told me
O'Brien
he's changing
brand.
the artwork in the book, and it's incorporating the hat. So
I could imagine. I'd kill him.
Welcome to Z&B Live Unfiltered, everybody. I am one of your hosts, Zach M. Rutledge, along with Mr. Bricks O'Brien, here live on YouTube every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can also find us over on Apple Podcast and Spotify podcasts, and would really appreciate all the subscriptions, the likes, the comments. Leave a review over there on the podcast channels. We'd love to get your thoughts on the show, especially when we put out calls to action, such as, hey, what's your favorite, or what's your dream Lego set? What's your white whale Lego set? We'd love to hear these kinds of things from you. So make sure you reach out to us either in social media or on the podcast channel.
If you have not watched the video version of the show, the artwork that we have, which was lovingly designed by Mr. Kevin Hinkle, lovingly before this moment, has been altered to have the golf hat that I wore on my trip back from Ireland. So you can't. I'm not updating the official branding on any of the platforms. It's not what's happening. But that is fan art that has been incorporated. It has been invaded into our official branding, and that goes against the brand guidelines. But that's what has happened for context.
I mean, you could just put the hat on, and then it would go with our brand.
I have the hat in my bedroom, and that's where it's going to stay. That came out wrong.
Wow.
But what's the issue with gift with purchases, Zach? What's the issue?
What's the issue? He says. Oh my gosh, so many issues with gift with purchases these days. So we've there's been an ongoing conversation, an ongoing topic of conversation when it comes to GWPs and Lego, and there's the thought of, well, you spend a ridiculous amount of money for the Lego set to get, some bricks that maybe you might be able to source, by itself, or is it worth it? Or in this case, you don't get, in the case of the Mimic here, you don't get, fancy box art. It's just in the yellow GWP box and so on and so forth. Or does it tie in at all? Or we went through this with the Avengers Tower and things like, and there's the side of a coin that says, give us more. We, give us better or whatever with gift with purchases. And then there's the other side of the coin of, which I'm on, is we're already going to buy the set anyway. This is just the cherry on the top. This is an extra, thank you from Lego to say, here you go. We appreciate you buying the set. Now, some of the issues that we've seen with GWPs is their limited quantity. And what that has been doing is forcing folks into buying sets day one. Regardless if you are ready, forcing, right. I mean, if you want the GWP, they make you believe that is going to be gone, in that, at least in that first weekend, if not, the first day, whatever kind of thing, right? Very rarely does a GWP kind of make it out of that first weekend, unless it's just a, whatever one, right?
Yeah.
And so, some people feel a little bit of the pressure to pull the trigger on a set a little earlier than what they maybe wanted. In this case, we had the release of the brand new Dungeons and Dragons set on April 1st for insiders, for Lego insiders, and it came with an exclusive gift with purchase, the Mimic dice block holder. Now, the set itself are pieces that you can buy separately, except the eyes. The eyes are the exclusive pieces that come with it. So could you switch out the eyes for something else? Probably. You could probably get pretty close to building this yourself if you really wanted to, just minus the eyes. But if you wanted that Dungeons and Dragons experience and bought it day one, you were hoping to get this set. Now, when I say it was available on April 1st for insiders, a lot of times what Lego will do is they will offer up brand new sets, especially sets that were not available for pre-order, early for what they call Lego Insiders. And it's their rewards program. It's they used to call it the VIP. Now they call it Insiders. But it's a free program that anybody can enter to. You just have to have an email address. That's it. It's very, very simple to sign up. It's very, very simple to earn points from every purchase you make. And then you can use that insider membership to buy things and whatnot with your points. And then it allows you a few days early on some sets. So what they did was they opened up sales for Dungeons and Dragons, their first foray into this partnership with Dungeons and Dragons, on April 1st, when the rest of the public didn't get it until April 4th, I think. And that gift with purchase, that Mimic, was gone by the end of the day, middle of the day in most cases. It was by the end of the day in most stores, but online it was gone by the middle of the day on Lego.com. And it wasn't just gone for the insiders on the early release. It was gone, period, which means if you were not a member or not a part of the insiders program, or you were confused on the release date because you thought it was coming out 3 days later as opposed to that early release, you completely missed out on the Mimic. And we've seen this before with other gift with purchases where they are gone before the general public even gets a crack at them. So that begs the question, is their strategy flawed when it comes to gift with purchase releases? And if it is, how can they fix it?
It's very conditional. So you have this, for example. By the way, before I go into my diatribe, you are dark mode, I am light mode on our screens.
Very much so.
On our backgrounds.
Yeah.
Very cool. With the Mimic specifically, the Mimic is, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons guy at all. I've said it before, say it again. I understand how important the Mimic is to Dungeons and Dragons, the chest that, bites, right? That's kind of like a trope that supersedes the Dungeons and Dragons fandom. So to me, this deserved a full-on box release in higher quantity, make sure other people have it, less of the exclusivity. Ironically enough, I was hanging out with some people last night. Somebody gave me this gift with purchase, which I'm very excited about. This is a Lego Super Mario expansion set that came out right when the line launched in 2020. It's 40414, Monty Mullen's Super Mushroom, right? So if you look at something like this, right, there are no exclusive parts at this time. There's no, really anything special about it, but it was a gift of purchase right when Mario came out. It is still highly sought after. And I fully believe that has to do with like this being a retail product. This is like a box. Right. Not like this over here. This is a box. So why does something like this, maybe this is because it was 4 years ago, but why does something like this get a full retail packaging, but not something like the Mimic, where that could even be something you sell in the checkout line leading up to getting the Dungeons and Dragons set? Maybe you don't want to invest $300-400 into a full thing, but the Mimic could have been your scratching of the itch for Dungeons and Dragons, and then boom, there you go. We have really cool stuff like this, but then really lame stuff like the Avengers Tower, a Black Panther with a random taxi that doesn't even look like a taxi. It's a strategy that I still don't think they've nailed down. Even in all their experience and years of doing this, they are not only getting reacquainted with like the adult market and making cool stuff for them and trying to make sure all the supply lines are there, but now it's post-lockdown. So like, would this have been more popular like 4 years ago? Is it less popular now? Are they trying to match the numbers properly? When I see something in like this box, the yellow box, that to me is like, okay, we don't have the timeline to make something fancy like this. We're just going to kind of put it together with an image and then that's that, because that yellow box is used for a bunch of different stuff. I think for like a store opening, you have a different color 2x4 brick, that's appropriate, but not for something like this. I take more issue of the presentation than the availability and how to add it here. Like it just doesn't stack up compared to how D&D is. And they just don't have it. I don't have it figured out. Even the render on the front of that box, I'm like, dude, you could have made a full on, like, make it a full retail product. Give us a couple more printed pieces or a display stand to go next to it and then call it a day. Like you're going to make your money on it. Like fueling the aftermarket like that doesn't incentivize people to buy Dungeons and Dragons more. It just agitates people.
We're not.
And that same feeling isn't there with the Black Panther taxi. I'm not going on eBay being like, where's my Black Panther taxi? This, if I'm a D&D fan, yeah. And I'm just mad at Lego.
We don't work for Lego, so we don't really, know for certain. I don't know for certain, but no. I see.
We don't know supply chain either.
I see a lot of the boxes like the Mario box there, as opposed to this, and a lot of when I see that, it almost tells me that maybe that was a set that was originally designed as a possible selling set. Like they thought, well, we can sell this, and then change their mind afterwards and said, no, let's just make it a GWP and whatever. I don't know. I could be completely off base there because I don't understand the difference between the GWPs that come in the yellow box versus the GWPs that come in a nice, supply looking.
If anything, you should have put the Ninjago modulars in the yellow box and have this have its own retail presence on store shelves. Like if you're going to have something like the micro modulars, those aren't hitting stores, I believe. Like you're not able to walk in as a gift of purchase, right?
Right. And those are.
So why not,
Yeah. And those are exclusively insider points. So you
Yeah,
have
so
not even a
those-
GWP, and that's
Yeah.
it's I don't understand. I'm not following the logic of why they're choosing what they're choosing, because we've even seen other just specifically insider point redemptions. The Walkman that was just released currently.
But that looked kind of lame.
Well,
to be
I know,
honest.
but
Like,
my point is, it's not about what that is. My point is that was an insider point thing only, exclusively, right? It wasn't a GWP. So, but it came in the yellow box, you know, and there's been other GWP, or I'm sorry, insider point redemption sets that come exclusively in that yellow box. And then we've also seen ones that come in the nice, pretty packaging. And then we've also seen both of those show up in GWP. So I'm not following Lego here on why they're choosing what they're choosing to put in a box versus not. You can't tell me that they didn't have time to put this in a nice packaging. They've been working on Dungeons and Dragons for a while now. Like, this is not something that just popped up and they said, "Oh, we got to figure out how to," like, "Oh yeah, we got to." No, man, they had this. I mean, it's part of their marketing strategy. Like, it was like literally no, I guess the gelatinous cube was the first thing they saw, but later you saw this one in their marketing material. So again, they were working on it. So there's really no reason for them, if they wanted to have it in a nice, pretty box, for them not to have it in a nice, pretty box. It was one of those mysteries of the Lego suits making decisions, and I'm not really sure why they're making these decisions, but that still comes back to the question of is there a problem with inventory accidentally, or is it purposefully that Lego is putting such a limited release on things like this? And if it is purposefully, then they can correct that because they can offer up more inventory. If it's not, how do we fix it? Because I know what's happening, and we'll get into this topic here in a second, but you know, there are people that see exclusive gift with purchases, you know, the lightsabers that we've gotten with some of the bigger UCS sets for Star Wars. You know, people are going in and they're buying up the max, you know, the limit per customer. They're buying those up. And then they're coming back, or they're going to their next store, they're going online and they're doing the limit again. Then they're just parting out all the pieces and throwing them up on their Bricklink store or whatever. But then they're reselling these gift with they've got them all up. They're collecting all of them and they're reselling them out. Like, how is it that Lego can help circumvent that with these gift with purchases? It's not like they should have been holding stuff back for that main release, especially on this set.
They normally do. They normally do. Like, I've worked in the store, and I know that is like a concern. You want to make sure that people have a reason to show up day one, but then a little bit of time afterward. And this was clearly just like a one of many flukes. So when I think of like my stuff, for example, there's been times where like I will have like a limited time merchandise item. And the reason I do a limited time merchandise sort of thing is because it is celebrating an event that is happening, or you kind of just want to have your stock run of something and kind of be done with it until it's out and done. There are some things that should always be around, like t-shirts and particular designs and whatever. But like, some things are just for this moment to celebrate this thing that is also happening. And that's that. Dungeons and Dragons is evergreen. To me, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to have this be an ongoing sort of a thing. Whereas something like, you know, a Lego movie is coming out, Lego Ninjago or something, and you want to do something special to commemorate the occasion, the 25 years of Lego Star Wars, you want to do something special for that. That to me is understood, because after 2025, people aren't going to care about the 25th anniversary. They're going to care about 30th anniversary. That's just kind of how Disney's done it for years, with here's this exclusive collection, and we have the 100 years of Disney, 100 years of Walt Disney himself being alive, the 50 years of Disney. Like, you can make an anniversary for anything you want to, on top of like the movie anniversaries and it's an infinite. When you're a brand that big, it goes, and Lego is clearly at that point. But why not allocate that energy to like other cooler, more exclusive things instead of like an evergreen item like this. You could just leave it and it's good and have it exist. That would have been fine.
It's a part of the experience. And that's why that's why I've been heated about this one specifically being out of stock, is that if you are there, if you wanted to buy the D&D set for the full D&D experience and you hesitated just a few hours, you missed out on what realistically is that full set's experience. Not only that, but now the book, the Insider Point, the 2700 Insider Point book is also gone. So now you can still get it for free from the PDF. You can print it if you really want to.
That's at least good.
You know, I love that they did that. I at least love that they did that. Part of me still thinks that book should have just been included in the set. But
how big is that book? Is it more than like 5 pages? Is it like a chunky?
It's a full campaign. It's
Sure.
You know, it's whatever. So yeah. It's a paperback book. Yeah. It's probably got like 20 pages or something in it, maybe. But like right now, like here's the thing. Right now, if you go out and you go buy Dungeons and Dragons right now, you can no longer get the full complete experience where you could sit there and you could play a campaign with it, like because you don't have the dice block or the dice block holder. You don't have the book, you know, which again, you can get the PDF. I understand that. But, which, you know, I mean, from my understanding, that's what people did anyway. You photocopied everybody else's books and stuff, and you had your own,
right.
Binder thing full of all these pages and anything like that. So, that's not a big deal, but you know, it's still a deal, and it's, to your point, like this should have been a thing that they just had available. It should have been made available beyond just that first day,
now you get to buy it off of somebody on eBay for 30% more than what you would pay off of Bricklink, which is 10% more than what the appropriate value was on Lego's website.
This is a $20. I think Lego valued it like $20.
They all value these at like 20 bucks,
right? Yeah.
They're all $20 because you have to assign a value on it because it has a barcode and
right.
Blah, blah, blah,
so
blah, 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 blah.
This now is ranging anywhere between 100 to 150 bucks US online. That hurts. That really, really, really hurts. And you know, like I said, at that point, I'm finding the blocks that I need minus the eyes and coming up with, an eye situation, an eye solution instead. Because apparently all the other parts exist out there for relatively cheap.
This is common. You could get like random creature eyes. It wouldn't be the same, but like you can get it done.
Yeah. Especially with lines like Dreams and stuff like that are having some really wacky things going on out there. I'm sure there's going to be parts that you could apply to this, but that leads me into reselling, and it's not so much the reselling of it. Look, there's a lot of people that, they have stores and we, a lot of us have collections that we need to offload and things like that, but it's reselling at a ridiculous price increase and taking advantage of people. The price gouging that I've seen go on, not just between two humans, but between, like, from stores. I know Lego doesn't care about this, but is there a way that Lego could help educate people, or lugs?
It's not their responsibility.
What about
it's not
lugs? What about Lego
user
user
responsibility either? No, the businessman entrepreneur perspective is supply and demand, right? That's what it all comes down to, and it stinks when there's not enough supply to meet that demand. And then there are people that are, I don't want to say savvy enough, but they're like, hey, I can absolutely go in here and I can absolutely take advantage of people by buying a bunch of these. And then I know for a fact they're going to be willing to pay more. That level of intent, I don't agree with, and I don't buy stuff with the implicit purpose of reselling it one day. I buy it because I enjoy it. And then, eventually if it gets money, sure, whatever. But this has been happening like really since kind of the dawn of time, sure, except with like stocks and other valuable items. This is just kind of, you can call it a product of capital, you call it a product of human, like whatever. But this is just kind of how it is. The only way Lego can alleviate the problem is by making enough of a thing that people really care about. And I've overheard the conversations of like, hey, we want to put this out into the world and we want people to buy it, but we also don't want to be stuck with thousands of them in our warehouse. So what is more valuable? Like what's the lesser of two evils? You have thousands of dollars worth of stock sitting in your warehouse, taking up space for something else that could sell more as a company, right? Because you got to make money, you got to grow the business. Or do we tick off a couple hundred or maybe 1,000 people who would otherwise be upset that they couldn't get this gift of purchase, which is a very like black and white way of looking at it. But when you're a business the size of Lego, that's how you look at stuff. Like the thing you don't want the most is you don't want the product to sit on shelves or not be appreciated by the people you're trying to market the thing to.
Sure.
So the Mimic, definitely a big misstep. They undershot it. When I think of like reselling and stuff, a comment that was brought up here in our live chat on YouTube was Nintendo. When it came down to Amiibo and the NES Classic that came out years ago, a lot of limited time items, right? These items are fairly niche by comparison of like the video games themselves. So they didn't like, drawing a comparison to Lego here. When you have a full price retail game, they're not going to make only a certain amount of copies of that. They're going to make as many copies as they possibly can to sell it. Just like they're going to make as many copies of the D&D set as they possibly can to sell those. When it comes to the Amiibo or the complementary things to the games, in this case, the gift of purchase, you just don't want to be sitting on them forever. And if I'm a business, I'd rather undershoot it than overshoot it, because you'll get to a point like Disney Infinity and Skylanders when there's hundreds of them sitting on the shelves in Toys R Us. So the resellers are the people that see an opportunity, they hold on to it and whatever. There's a difference between also the people that have warehouses and spaces dedicated to this stuff and make a business out of it, by comparison of guys like us who hold on to one set in our backlog and like, I don't really care for it, I'll sell it one day. Like I have that with the Apocalypse Berg. I've had it for years. I don't really like it, but I acquired it through a trade. Am I ever going to build it? No. Am I eventually going to sell it? Yes. So I can buy something else. Really cool. So different levels of intensity and business with all of this stuff. Do I think it's wrong? When you're gouging people to that extent, how can you not feel at least a little bit bad about, like gouging people out like that? I wouldn't live with myself in that way. But people are more or less moral than you or I when it comes to this stuff. Like there's a way you can sell a thing or resell a thing that's appropriate for the market and not rip off people.
But how do we educate those people? Like, how is it, as Lego fans that understand the game and know? We've talked about this when you go to conventions and things and you see vendors out there like on the show floor selling stuff that ridiculously priced or whatever. Like how is it we can educate Lego fans that maybe don't know? Is how do we do that?
Well, first of all, our outlets, you and I, right here, ZB and Live Unfiltered, we would be largely ineffective because the people that need to be educated are the moms, the dads, the grandmas, the grandpas who are going into the Lego store and buying a thing. What I've understood in my retail experience at the Lego store, you want to give people the easiest path to buy the thing that they want to buy. So if that means they buy a super expensive Lego set just to get one minifigure, and I've encountered these people before. It doesn't sound right, but it's true. There are the parents that are like, my kid wants that minifigure. I'm going to buy this $150 set because that's my option. That's what I have in front of me. That's what's going to happen. And when you go to a convention and you have that kid, the parent who is wanting to buy the thing for their kid, if you approach them mid conversation and say, no, you can go to Target and go buy the set that has all the figures in it for $40 instead of paying $15 for this one figure, that mom will be like, shut up, I'm going to buy it. And then that's the end of it, because that's the easiest path to get what the kid wants.
Sure.
So the solution is, to me, not an education. It comes down to making the cool things that kids want accessible. But Lego strategically puts it behind, in the case of like Jurassic Park, a giant $130 set just to get the T-Rex, right? They're not going to sell just the T-Rex. They're not going to do that. So I'm not trying to justify resellers and selling one minifigure for $45. Like, that's dumb. I don't do that when I go to Brick World Chicago, wherever. It's dumb. But to parents who just want to make their kid happy or know that their kid really wants that thing for an extended period of time, it just happened. Like, I've seen both sides of the conversation. Like, people want the easiest path forward to buy the thing. And for a lot of people, that's resellers at a convention, when you see it in real life, not when you're looking at an image on eBay or Bricklink.
Have you ever bought Lego secondhand for like way more than retail?
Yes.
What was that?
Well, I've tried to be tactical. So I worked at the Lego store when the Lego Movie 1 came out, and I made a bad decision where I did not buy the Metal Beard Sea Cow with my discount at the time. So I ended up paying retail for $250, so like $275 for it afterward. And that was a pretty good deal for a sealed, sea cow. That was pretty good. Other than that,
I mean, that's only 20.
As of like recent, yeah, that's not that bad at all. And shipping, I obviously paid for, whatever. But largely, the stuff that I want now, I haven't. I paid for a half-assembled Jabba sail barge when it first came out in 2006. I did that. That was a little bit overpriced, especially because it wasn't complete. Like, I've done it. I've done it plenty of times. And what it comes down to is how much you actually want the thing, how much it means to you, and what you're willing to pay. Perfect. I'll give a unrelated Lego example, but a perfect example. Right now, the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door original strategy guide for the Nintendo GameCube in immaculate condition, $175. Easy. Obviously, I want it. Do I want to pay $175? No. At the time, it retailed for $15.
Right.
So, go on eBay, and I see somebody selling it for $60. I placed an offer for $80, and it's in great condition. And I said, hey, I would love to have this as part of completing my collection for my favorite game of all time. Would love to snag this. Thank you. Accepted the offer immediately. And he's like, the seller came back to me and said, this is my childhood copy of this book. Going to a good home. Good luck. And yes, I paid way more than the retail price. But when I have a connection with somebody, even like in a small way like that, I'm willing to pay more because how much it means to me.
Sure. Someone
in that position may be willing to let go of it for a little bit less because they know, and I do that all the time, let go of it for less because it's going to a good place. That's more of a personal one-to-one sort of thing instead of like a business transaction at a convention and trading between stuff like, I don't know what you did to get Voltron, but I know you've been wanting it for a very long time.
That was the thing,
and
right?
Yeah,
that was the first time.
Otherwise, you're paying,
right?
Yeah,
that's the Voltron is the first time that I bit the bullet and did something like that. Like I thought about doing, paying well over retail for Barracuda Bay, but pulled myself back and said, no, that's not worth it.
You want Barracuda Bay?
I've wanted Barry. I sat there.
I have Barracuda Bay in a bag.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want it. We'll talk. Now, do y'all think I'm gonna price gouge Zach and be like, oh, well, the Bricklink value goes for this, so I'm gonna charge you friend discount 5%? No, because I know he's gonna build it on a live stream and enjoy it as a friend and as a coworker, like that's the sort of thing you need to look for when you're going to like make a trade with somebody or do like.
Well, that's what. So yeah. So our good friend Ty, who used to be on Twitch quite a bit, he was doing that. He was tearing it all down. He was, getting all the bags labeled and all this. Like he spent weeks like tearing this thing down and labeling all the bags and whatever. And he knew that I was really interested in that, in owning that set. And he was like, make me an offer. And I said, absolutely not, because with the amount of care that he took for that set, I wanted him to get top dollar for it. And I would say the same thing to you. Like, that's a set right now that is going for good money. I don't care. And I don't want to take it away from somebody that potentially could make some good money off of it.
Let's take a look at Lego Bear. I'm going to go eBay prices. I don't do these Bricklink prices. I do eBay prices. But
that's why, like, but Voltron for me was worth it. Voltron was that set for me that was finally worth it. It was a toy, a property that I grew up with. I had the green lion. I had the red lion. I don't think I ever had the black lion. Like, I didn't have all of them to make Voltron. My cousins did, and you know what? They're probably not going to come out with something like that ever again. And besides maybe Power Rangers. That's right. And so I've been different. Kind of waiting for maybe a refresh. And I keep hearing, well, they don't typically do refresh on idea sets like that. And there's licensing issues and things that they could run into, and so without the prospect of there being a refresh, it was finally time. The deal was good enough. Like, it wasn't the $800 set that we saw at Brick World Chicago. Last June. That's stupid. Right.
That is dumb. And pro gamer tip: when you go to conventions and stuff like that, you know what those people love more than money? They love trading product. They love it. So if you go walk up and you have a couple sealed sets and you're like, hey, let's make a trade offer, right? With the meme of the guy on the two sides, make a trade offer. Yeah. They will do it. They will absolutely do it, and they'll be happy to do it. And most of the time, like, Lego fans are not like, generally, if you're a fan of Lego, you're not like an awful human being. So you're not going to get the guy from Pawn Stars like, this thing's worth $1,000. I'll give you $100. That's the best I can do, dude. Right? They're not going to do that. They're going to give you a reasonably decent deal on the thing. So I encourage everybody to do that. If you went up with like a set with that Voltron, you could get that down to like $500 easy. Not that that's even a good deal still.
Right.
But
that's still rough. Right. That's still kind of up there. But that's where it just kind of all worked out. But what was nice is, and that's what, we've been able to branch out into and take advantage of, is we have people all over the country looking at sets. We have people all over the world looking at sets, and it gives us an opportunity to take advantage of these things. Just like taking advantage of,
what a pivot, this guy. Look at that.
The UK always has these amazing magazines across the pond. The Star Wars, the official Star Wars Lego magazine. I can't get them over here in the United States, and it sucks. But we have friends over there across the pond that will scoop some of these up for us and send them our way for the price of the shipping and things like that. And what's awesome about these is that you get some pretty cool little minifigs with them. Typically, the current one for April, you're getting the Coruscant Guard minifig, and then next in May they're going to be offering up a Chewbacca. But these are the things that are hard for the average person to get, and you got to go to a resale market to to get them typically, unless you're as blessed as we are and have, you know, friends and colleagues all across the globe. So we, you know, take advantage of this stuff, take advantage of these connections that we've made here online. And, you know, if you're in the UK, take advantage of these Lego magazines. I actually love these things. Boy, shipping is crazy right now, and it's hard to, it's even a magazine, it's hard to ship across the pond.
Yeah, the only way it works is like in the States, you can do media mail for stuff like this. I mean, maybe not with the with this guy, but like media mail is relatively cost effective to like ship this out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually got this while I was in Ireland. They had these at Tesco, I think.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool because it comes with a Strider from Minecraft, which is not generally in a set that small. Now, Lego could have made that into a poly bag, and that would have been really cool. But I don't know how they decide what goes into something like this. So, like this to me doesn't come off like a Lego product. I don't know who makes this, but like it's very different than anything else anywhere.
It's supposed to be official.
No, it is official, but like who? Because this is not traditional Lego packaging. Like they'll sometimes put poly bags on the front, and it's good, but yeah, I don't know who makes this.
I don't know. It looks like the paper version of the gift with purchase box.
Right, literally.
Which
they could put the poly bags in these instead of having them be in the
plastic
crinkly poly bags that are plastic and probably.
I agree.
Kill the
I would
environment
love
more.
to get rid of
These
the
are
crinkly plastic poly bags and go to the paper. And maybe that's where they're headed eventually, because they've already have these out in circulation. I would, you know, we've been waiting, and that's part of the deal too, is that the sets that we're seeing with land members, they're getting them from, you know, across the pond, and they are coming in those paper sacks. We're not here yet in our country. So I think eventually, given time, we might see that transition with the poly bags to paper, just like we see the actual Lego bags to, you know, to paper and stuff. But definitely, like, if you're a Star Wars fan, man, get over there, get your one of these, and if you're so inclined, send me one of those minifigs. I would love I would love one. You know, speaking of Star Wars, the visual dictionary is now available over on Amazon. And you bet your buttons I snagged one of these up. I love these books. I got the space encyclopedia as well that Lego just put out on the Lego website. But these visual dictionaries, I don't know, for some, my son and I have been looking at them for years, since he was a baby, you know what I mean? And the fact that they come with a little minifig is just the cherry on top for me. This particular one does come with a Darth Maul figure, which would be nice because I think I only have one Darth Maul in my collection. But the stickler for some people is that these typically come with a printed back, and it's a whatever anniversary thing. So this one is it says 25 year anniversary on the back of the minifig. When it comes to minifigs like that for you, Mr. Bricks O'Brien, does that bother you at all to have something like that printed on the figure?
I think it's odd in this case that the 25 anniversary Lego Star Wars figures that we're already getting do not have the branding, and this one does. I'm interested why. Like, it's cool on the 20th anniversary figures that came out, classic throwback Lego Star Wars, the printed back differentiates them by comparison of their original counterparts. So this one I would have loved to have seen, instead of 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars, it was a 25th anniversary for Phantom Menace. This was your prime opportunity to do something, your one-off exclusive, whatever, differentiated, but like none of the other minifigures have, and maybe they'll do a gift with purchase or something later in the year to commemorate, and they have the printed whatever. This is fine because you get a Darth Maul in the Sith Infiltrator, and it's probably the same exact thing minus the printing. I don't personally care about the printing. I never get these books because immediately when you get them, they're immediately outdated as compared to the Lego Space Encyclopedia. It's a retrospective on everything. Sure. Everything's kind of set in stone, besides maybe a teaser to the brand new things. But like your Lego Star Wars dictionary, your Harry Potter, your Marvel, the moment they're published, they're outdated. So I actually fun fact, I drew my line with Lego Harry Potter when they had an exclusive Tom Riddle in that from Chamber of Secrets. That's where I drew my line. And I'm like, I'm not buying a $40, which inevitably goes on sale, $40 book to get one minifigure. I'm good. So I've never had an affinity for these books. I have an affinity for my books, but not these ones.
At $21 US, it's not bad. And I like comparing them to the older versions we have. The one thing I can never decide on is, which at the time, up until now, up until recently, my child has always wanted to just rip the minifig out of the book anyway. And I let him, because I'm not.
Dude, people do that at the stores. They'll just rip it right out. They have to keep them behind the counter at like Barnes and Noble.
Right. So that was going to be my question: is what with a book like this, do you take the minifig out of the book, out of the book, and put it in your
steal
collection?
it from the shelves of Barnes and Noble? No, because I'm a decent person.
You can't fit the minifig with all the candy you steal typically from Barnes and Noble. No, what do you like? When you get it home, are you removing something like this from the book, or are you leaving for a collector's item? Does it matter?
I've never dedicated a single brain cell to that thought until the moment it sputtered out of your mouth. So
I'm serious. I have this battle with myself sometimes when it comes to these things. Like because the minifig for me is going to sit on a shelf anyway. Should it just sit in the book, or should it come out of the book and sit on a shelf?
I want it displayed alongside my other Lego Star Wars minifigures, and if I'm displaying the minifigure, in this case, it's putting it up with the book, and I don't want to put up the whole book to go alongside the no. I'm taking the figure out. Now you can't remove the figure without compromising the book, right? Like you have to rip it out, or is it like a clamshell?
The last few that I remember, you kind of tear it off and it kind of rips the paper.
See, that's lame.
Bit. Yeah, it's
now they obviously they had that for security purposes. They don't want like some Declan stealing it, right?
Sure.
But you could do like a clamshell something with the void sticker, or you could do it a more eloquent way that you could just put it back in if you want to.
Yeah. And to your point, yes, these are typically outdated almost before you get them, kind of thing. I don't mind that, because I compare them to the previous books. Like I like kind of pulling out the older books from time to time and looking at them. But this new space encyclopedia is a spectacular book. I was looking through it last night.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the fact that we're getting one of those types of books for the Star Wars line, an encyclopedia, Lego Star Wars encyclopedia, I am like going gaga. I can't wait till we get like the first official full what it's going to look like pictures. But it's in I can't remember which instruction booklet it's in. It's in one of the current instruction booklets of the current Star Wars line, where it shows you a sneak peek at it of what this new Star Wars encyclopedia is going to look like. I was trying to look through I was literally opening up Star Wars sets, trying to find which book it was in, but that one is going to be absolutely spectacular, but that's not going to come with a minifig or anything like that.
Right. I also feel like that's for adults. This one's definitely for kids.
Oh, sure.
I would be more interested in like the coffee table book of Lego Star Wars. Here's the retrospective interviews with the designers, your shots of the prototype unreleased stuff that they kind of hinted at before, like a full, make it a nice big thick dictionary, right? Make it not even a dictionary, but just like
the encyclopedia. I think that's what we're gonna get. I think it's
that's what I thought. That image, and we talked about it before the show, before we went live. It was.
I think it's gonna be this, a coffee table book.
You think that is gonna be the Star Wars visual dictionary? No way.
Yeah.
No.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not. No. This is for what you're holding is for adults and classic collectors.
Not what we're seeing here. I think the encyclopedia that's coming out that they've been.
Oh yes. Okay.
I think
you're right. Yep. I agree.
That coffee table style book with those interviews, with a retrospect, look back where the history's gone. I mean, this. If you guys have not gotten this, if you are a Lego fan and you don't have the Lego Space 1978 to 1992. But get this, it's on lego.com. This book is spectacular, absolutely spectacular for any Lego fan that grew up with Lego, especially. I mean, any Lego fan can look back and you can see the history of it, but my God, it's, especially if you grew up with those sets, it's,
yeah,
man,
totally.
it was hitting me in the feels the other night how much I was loving it. Dreaming about a book, I might say, like that for Star Wars. Speaking of dreams, we have officially new dream sets, new dreams lineup coming out, and some a official Lego store in Mexico, I think, hit the dropped all the new imagery and things of all the new sets. I'll tell you what, Mr. Bricks O'Brien, these dream sets, they keep trying to pull me in, baby. They want to pull me in. They want to pull me in. They want to pull me in. And it's all I can do with every fiber in my being not to jump into the dream sets, because these sets are cool looking. The designs are neat. The pieces and the variety of pieces you get are incredible. And a lot of, obviously, AFOLs and Lego collectors and Lego mock builders are already looking at these dream sets going, my God, there's so many new exclusive pieces, brand new pieces now that we can incorporate into our creations. Are dream sets for you at all? Are you buying any of these sets?
Fool me once with Lego Hidden Side. Rather, not even. Fool me once with Lego Chima. Fool me twice with Lego Hidden Side. Fool me 3 times with Lego Video. Fool me. How many more times can I be fooled before I invest all of this money into an original Lego theme that is trying to mimic the success of Ninjago and failing? How many times can I do it? And they're very cool. They're very, very cool. Just like Monkey Kid is super, super cool. They don't carry the Monkey Kid sets in Lego stores. Most of the Lego stores throughout North America, because the media just resonates over in China way more because of the source material. And that's kind of how they constructed the theme. This is very clearly like, hey, watch this series online, like a Ninjago, and go buy the Lego sets. And they are very cool. I have no emotional connection to any of these characters, the story, the anything. And these sets are not going to make me go and do it. Like, I think the Raven that you're showcasing on screen right now, the Never Witches Midnight Raven, unbelievably cool and original. And oh my goodness, the printing on the minifigures, the side printing on the legs that like Iron Man should have had for the past 15 years. You have these unbelievably unique translucent colors for the wings, and then you have a T-Rex that transforms into 2 different types, and then fool me, you can't get fooled again. Fool me, can't get fooled again. I've seen cool Lego sets before that have come out, released, and get excited, get your money. We're canceling it. All right. I'm all set. I'm good.
Here's the thing, though. Even if they cancel it, that doesn't take away from how amazing the sets are and what they look like and what
I lose all connection with that thing. Like I need to. I'm at the point right now where I need to have more than just it looks. If I bought a Lego set just because it looked cool, I'd be in severe credit card debt, Zach. We need more than that to connect with a thing,
yes,
and have it be displayed on your shelf proudly. And an original series online is just not enough for me. And maybe it's because I'm a 28-year-old man and I can see that they're very clearly trying to market this,
right? That's
and
not,
whatever. It's not, you know.
It's what do you always say? That's not your demographic. This is not your demographic. This is not you.
No, right.
This is the hat is your demographic. This set is not for you. This set is for kids, and the bright colors and the wild designs and stuff. Man, as if I was a kid, this would attract my attention, and I would much more than the city sets and things like that, right? So why isn't this line selling? Why can't we get this line moving. What is it that's holding this line back? Is it cost? Are these sets costing too much for kids to get a hold of? What's the deal?
So I think back to Bionicle, where, you had the early 2000s. I bought Bionicle as a kid, the canisters and the everything, super cool. Canceled Bionicle because it's not selling nearly as well, not doing enough for the company. In the wake of that, and I don't think many people realize this, you have elemental heroes in a fictitious world that has movies, cartoons, and comic books. That's a Ninjago, dude. Like, the Ninjago premise has been around for over 20 years, and it just so happens that the kids that were all about Bionicle maybe transitioned into Ninjago. I did not. I had my dark age during then. But I know plenty of people my age and a little bit younger, a little bit older, that are all about Ninjago. So much so that it has a very long-standing cartoon, the movie, like I said, comics, and all the other media around it. And I think they've hit that note. That note has been hit. And LEGO, for as unbelievably creative and story-driven as this company is, they're not crafting something that people give a, can you do a sound effect for me? People that give a about at all. And it's amazing. I don't know why, man. Maybe I should just watch it for the sake of understanding what it is. And maybe after like 3 episodes, I can be like, oh, here's why it's not resonating. Because even as an adult, I can be like, oh, this was a good story. This is a bad, like, I watched recently Princess and the Frog for the first time ever. Oh, movie's over 10 years old. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. It holds up today. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
So for you, it is all about, they need that tie-in to the show tie-in to be a little bit more strong.
You're not going out and buying the Avengers Tower unless you have these movies and media leading up to it to make you invest in wanting to buy the thing.
Sure.
And you can make a thing look cool, but that doesn't mean people are going to get behind it. It's a yin and yang. It has to be both. So clearly there's something about the story or the distribution of it, or like the writing. I don't know. But
I feel like it's a distribution thing. Like, because like it says right there, watch the series online. Well, what if you didn't? I mean, they're wanting you to buy the toy already, and you haven't even seen the series yet. You're not. There's a disconnect there.
That's hashtag marketing, dude.
That's what they're trying to do with Disney. Why is Dreams not on Disney? Like Disney Junior?
Why is it not on Peacock with Universal? Because they work with Universal. Why is it not?
They have.
They're putting it
options other than the online thing.
Yeah,
you got to get it in front of people, and unfortunately, they're not going to find it as easily online. Like, I still don't know where to watch this. I have no clue where to watch this.
And kids are smarter than I think some of us give credit to. That, like, they see Hidden Side and they're like, oh, okay, that's where I go back to. They're just going to cancel this. Okay.
Yeah. And this is
what do they have to do to prove it? I don't know.
This is the second line, and this is the one that supposedly is the make or break, whatever. Now they've come out and they, especially during their financials release, that they have a 3 to 4 year plan for the Dreams line. We'll see after this next lineup if they decide to, whatever. I guess it depends on how well it sells.
I talked to my Lego store buddies. This stuff is not moving nearly as much. So you can buy it if you want to on that cool factor. But man, Lego releases a new cool thing every month. It's product of the month. So spend wisely.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Mr. Bricks O'Brien, thank you so much for another wonderful show. Hopefully we can get you back in the hat at some point in time for a future episode. But apparently we now have the requirements for this, and that is if Mr. Bricks O'Brien hits partner over on Twitch, which means you need to go be checking out Mr. Bricks O'Brien over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Bricks O'Brien. You're going to get some Lego content, some Mario content. Obviously, we've got Paper Mario coming up. That's going to be a big deal. So all kinds of variety content over there with him that you should definitely be checking out.
It's just a good time. If you want a good time, show up.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Simple.
It's this for 3 hours. Why would you not want that?
Who doesn't want that? You know, I'm telling you know what bring people in. I think you should just give people the tease and maybe like once a week, one stream a week. It's hat day, right? And let's see if people show up for hat day. I'm just throwing out ideas. That's all.
You're full of ideas. You're full of a lot, Zach.
I was going to hit the button for you.
You're full of a lot of the time, most of the time. Grand majority of the time.
You can also find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Zach M. Rutledge, and all over social media, Bricks O'Brien, Zach M. Rutledge. We make it simple for you. We make it easy for you because we all know that, like us, you're all lazy and you want things simple. So we did make it easy for you to find us. Thank you so much. Be back here again next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time for more Z&B Live Unfiltered. Thank you to our live audience here in chat. We really appreciate you guys being here. And for those of you listening to us on the podcast channels after the fact, thank you. What are you doing? Get into the live show. Come visit us. Come chat with us. Come visit with us. 10 a.m. Eastern times over on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much, Mr. Bricks O'Brien. We'll see you guys later. Bye.